can't come close, come close. I'm looking for the local. No, I don't wanna postpone, yeah.
Hey guys, it's Joel and welcome back to the channel and to an extremely exciting video. Before we start, I just want to apologise for the sort of slowdown in my upload schedule lately. I've been out of the country this week, taking a little bit of a break, so there's been slightly less content, but now I'm back. I'm working really hard to bring you some really exciting content and continue my hunt for my new daily. More will be coming on that soon. Anyway, before we get into the video, please make sure that if you're one of my 75% or so of viewers that are not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe now. So, what have I got behind me? Well, those of you that know anything about cars will instantly recognize this car. This is probably just, well, it's just one of the most iconic cars ever made. This is a 2017 G63 AMG G-Wagon. Just the absolute best spec you could ever have. Black on black. It looks absolutely ridiculous, and I don't think the camera will even do it justice. This belongs to a good friend of mine who's recently got this. It's a car he's always wanted, and well, massive congratulations to him because it is stunning. First of all, the car is massive. My Z4's just out of the shot there next to it, and it just looks ridiculously small next to this thing. I mean, it probably takes me about 5 seconds or so to walk the entire length of it. It's an absolute monster, an absolute monster. Yeah, I mean, what is there to say really? Black on black, massive wheels. They're 21 inches, obviously in black as well. And then we've got all of these chrome sort of fittings around the side. I'll show you around the car properly in a minute if I'm not already overlaying B-roll as we speak. And yeah, one thing that I love about these G-Wagons is the exhausts are under here on the side here. So don't ever get caught standing here waiting to get in the back when one of these is started, because that's exactly where the exhausts are. But yeah, this thing is ridiculous, but actually my favorite thing probably about this car has to be the interior, so let me show you that next. This is not the 463 edition, but it is essentially the highest spec you can get without having that car. In fact, the front guard there is from the 463, and so are the wheels. And let's just go on the inside, because this has got the Designo interior, which is just stunning. You've got quilted leather everywhere, and I'll show you the back again in a minute, but the seats themselves are just beautiful, so comfortable. This would be like an ultimate road trip car, and you can see, yeah, the door cards there as well, all quilted leather, absolutely stunning. Now this is a pre-facelift model, of course. If you want a facelift G63, they're almost twice the money, but that's what you'll see the likes of Shmee 150 and TGE having on YouTube. But this, in my opinion, is just as stunning. I love the big grab handle there in the front too. But yeah, the quilted leather continues into the back of the car. And actually just opening those door handles is such a satisfying feeling. And yeah, in the back here, extremely plush as well. And you can see me holding the camera because these window tints are 100% basically limo tint. It is so dark in the back here, but literally nobody can see you in here. And if you are in the back, you actually have TVs in this particular car. Very cool. But yeah, just listen to this. So satisfying. Memory functions on the seats on both sides. So much adjustability, if that's a word, on the seats. They're heated, they're cooled. Got the big screen there, dual clutch gearbox. And yeah, this thing is just properly kitted out, and it is so beautiful, honestly. I'm not even really a massive fan of these big SUVs, but you cannot dispute this thing is just quite a sight to behold. Okay, so incredibly, I now find myself in the driver's side of this G-Wagon. I've very kindly been thrown the keys to have a little go and see what this thing's all about, but I already know it's just, it's such a cool car from being in the passenger side. But I'm very excited to have a little try of how it feels for myself. Of course, this is not a slow car by any means. It's about 540 brake horsepower, twin turbo V8. Okay, well, here we are in the beast. Everything's in sort of auto mode at the moment, just chilling, just getting to know the car a little bit. It's immediately, the steering is very heavy actually, but you can just feel instantly there's a lot of power under your right foot, and that's quite a satisfying feeling. The view out of this car as well, hopefully you can see it on this camera to my right, but the windscreen's so flat in front of you, and you sort of almost feel like you're falling frontways out of the car, but you've just got that massive flat bonnet in front of you. It is a very cool view from here, and you do feel literally on top of the road. Ride quality, as you can expect, is not, well, it's not the most soft ride on the planet, but I don't think that's what it's really designed for. This thing, of course, is a very capable off-roader if you wanted it to be, although lots of them are certainly not in fact used for that. But of course, having those massive 21-inch alloys probably doesn't help the ride quality all that much anyway, but who cares, man? Who actually cares? This car just feels so cool to be driving. Now, of course, this is Mercedes automatic transmission. I think they called it like the 7G Tronic, but it means I've got flappy paddles, so at any point I can just flick one. I've got a gear display in front of me, up to 7 gears, of course, and I can select my gear. Here's 4th gear. Let's do a little bit of a pull. That's foot to the floor. Oh, and it's automatic change down for me. And this thing has got a lot of torque. Seems like one of those cars from any speed, it will simply just fly, and it absolutely does. You're up to some very naughty speeds pretty quickly in this car, which just feels crazy because of the size of the thing. But you know, that's where the 530 brake horsepower or so goes. It's absolutely mental. And actually, although it's a very hot day, I'm just extremely comfortable because I've got my cooled seats on, air conditioning. It is an honestly lovely place to be. So using this little function here, which is CSM, you've got 3 modes on this car essentially: comfort, sport mode, and comfort's what we've been in since the start of this video, and manual, which obviously locks it then into manual mode, so you don't have to worry about it automatically downshifting for you. So if I want 4th, I get 4th. 4th is a really nice gear actually. It'd probably take you almost to the top speed of this car, but you can also use it at low speeds. But yeah, it honestly just feels so cool to drive, and needless to say, very different to what I'm used to in my Z4. Now obviously on the whole new daily thing, if this was a car that was in my price range, which it absolutely isn't, this to me would just be like the perfect daily. Now of course it's a V8, I don't think you're going to see much more than 20 miles per gallon on a good day, but it's not something you really care about when you're driving the car. Now the steering is something that's very interesting because obviously this being such a big car, there's actually a bit of delay before anything happens. It's obviously nothing like a sports car setup. It is, well, I mean, it feels like an SUV. You've got to turn a long time before you want the car to actually do anything. Okay, sport mode, let's see what this does. I'm just going to kick down, see what the car can do. Oh my goodness. It is that, I mean, that was 30 to 60 in like 2 seconds. That is insane. And luckily, there's some massive brakes on this car, so it does stop equally quick as well, which you definitely want. Wow, this thing is something else. So I could certainly see myself doing a big road trip in this car. I mean, it would just be perfect for the job. I mean, I think mostly it's suited to eating up miles on a motorway or on an autobahn. We're about to take it on a little bit of a back road now and see how it handles on there, but of course it is not at all built for these sorts of roads, so I can't expect anything too much. But I'm just enjoying the sound of that V8 and also just the way this thing pulls. Even if you're just gentle with it, it just is such a progressive power band. So torquey, of course, from that big turboed engine, and it's just very nice to drive. I can't really say much else. There we go. And this cyclist in front of me must be absolutely terrified if you can hear this thing coming down the road. You best get past him, but leave him a bit of distance, otherwise this thing would just blow him off as we go past. Honestly guys, this thing pulls like a train. It's probably about the same acceleration as that M240i I featured on the channel recently, which is mad because that car is a tiny little coupe. 340 brake on that. Obviously it just comes down to power to weight ratio, but again, let me reiterate, we're just sitting in a massive brick here. It should not move like it moves, and that is just endlessly satisfying to do that in this car. I can't imagine how it looks to the people coming down the road. Must only be terrifying. I think people do definitely want to get out of the way of this thing, and I know I certainly would as well. This is one of those cars that just sucks you up the road. I'm in 4th gear here, 30 miles an hour, half throttle, up a hill, and it just surges you. It feels like there's a big long cable attached about 100 meters down the road and it's just been catapulted towards it. It really has, and you're never going to be stuck for power in this car. So guys, I'm going to end the video here because really there's not that much more I can talk about. I hope you guys love this car as much as I do, although that would be difficult. I'm honestly telling you, it's like one of the most fun cars I've driven, not because of the way it actually handles, but just because of like everything else, how it sits on the road, how it feels. It's just unbelievably fun to be in, and I absolutely love this car. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Big thanks to the owner for letting me have a go in the car. And yeah, I will see you guys very, very soon.